Hi. Let me adjust my ring light really quick. Well, actually, I think this works. This works. I hope y'all are doing well. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Um, you can find everything in my link tree. For the self pleasure stuff, you can use code AFF Queen. For skincare stuff, you can use code Queen15 for money off. I don't want to go so deep into the intros as much anymore. So it's all in the link tree. I have to add the glow melanin stuff, but everything else is there. And then also the spiritual channel, Queen the Mystic. You can find me there. Let me just wait for some more people to get in here. Um, please say hi in the chat. We don't bite. It's always a good time there. There's a really good community of ladies and gentlemen in the chat where you can all get to know each other. So please don't forget to say hi. Um, so I made a video about emotional detachment quite a while ago, but I really do feel as though it's a really good subject for us to all revisit because emotions are really important. And as a woman, I really do believe that as a woman, you should value your emotions like currency. You should see your emotions as a form of currency, and that every time you react and you give your emotions to a person, it would essentially be like, if you're angry and so you want to react in anger, that's like giving someone $100. When you are just being very reactive, it's a leak in your energy, especially as a woman, because especially in regards to men understand that this is the reason why they say that women are emotional. And the reason why they say this is because they know that there's a high level of predictability that women have in regards to our emotions. That's the reason why they call us emotional, because a lot of us are very predictable. So a lot of men already know, if I do X, she's going to react Y, right? They already know that. And so you have to understand how to not be predictable and how your reactions are going to like be displayed to another person, right? Because I think that that's our biggest power leak as women. It's our emotional reactivity. And so every time you like blow up over a situation, every time that you try to like chase after closure, try to get closure from a situation, or when you try to prove your worth, you hand over your control to the other person. And that really does put you in a compromising situation. And I think another thing too with detaching, a lot of women have a hard time detaching because naturally for us, detaching feels evil. Detaching feels very cold. And really, the whole goal here is for me to like rewire your mindset on how you view detachment, because it's not mean, it's not cold. It's really just you being very picky about where your emotional energy is going, right? So the first thing is that we have to understand, like, okay, we have to understand why reacting kind of like keeps you stuck. Okay. And it's kind of like what I said earlier. It's the predictability factor. Also, let me take my jacket off because it's hot. It's hot. And I agree with you. And this is why I said that it's the predictability. A lot of the time, men are purposely putting you in a situation where you have to react because they know that they know your level of predictability. So they already know, if I act this way, this is how she is going to react. A lot of men already know this about women. They already know, if I it's like the video I talked about yesterday, how the woman like caught her man cheating and she gifted him with a portrait. of him matching with somebody on a dating app, and then he had the nerve to say like, that's why you should have been minding your business. He's not stupid. Obviously he's saying that because he wants to get an emotional reaction out of her, right? He wants her to then be angry at something that he said as opposed to what she was originally angry at. He's just giving her a new thing to be angry over. That way, she can put so much energy into him being disrespectful in this form, so much that she can't focus as much on the fact that, like, okay, obviously he was cheating. So they do this on purpose because they know that you're going to respond and they know that you are going to react. So this is why I feel like it's very important as a woman for you to not be predictable. And that's why I do have an upload only video talking about, as a woman, you have to go off script. You have to go off script because men, they literally have it like written down. Like they literally have these things written down. If I do this, she will react this way. And another thing too, men are always studying your reaction. So you may be thinking that, a man is doing something because like, oh, like he may not know, or it was by a mistake, or it was by accident. They're very intentional about these things that they're doing that they try to pass off as being a mistake or being accidental. Really, what they're looking for is they want to see your reaction to what they've done. And once they see your reaction to what they've done, they then realize like what your triggers are, what your boundaries are, and what you will and what you will not allow. And so once you do react to certain things, you're teaching the other person what buttons to press in order to do like what he wants, to get you to do the things that he wants, because he understands you're giving him the playbook every single time you react a certain way. And I talk about this a lot on the Patreon. The Patreon is all about dark femininity, and a part of dark femininity is you being mysterious, because mystery increases your level of desirability. And I kind of think of it as like aura points. Like if I'm very reactive and I'm very predictable and I don't emotionally attach, I just lose hella aura points. You know what I mean? And like I want to keep my aura. So this is a big reason why I don't do like closer text messages. I don't care about if I left some clothes or some shoes at like an ex-boyfriend's place or stuff like that. I don't care about things like that. You can keep the things at your place. I could just replace them. I already know the relationship is done. So what do I need to have closure from? It's not going to change anything. What's done is done. And I understand that when I do that, I'm not leaking all this energy by being reactive, and I'm keeping my aura, I'm keeping my mystery. And women that actually do this, when you just cut someone off, because I love it when a woman, she already knows the man has done wrong. She just breaks up with him. She doesn't even explain why she's breaking up with him. She just cuts him off completely. The man is always going to be thinking, because here's the thing, if the man's done like 5 things wrong, and he thinks that he's gotten away with doing all 5 things, and then let's just say you find out that he's done one thing, in his brain he's going to constantly be thinking of like, what does she know? And if she does know, how did she find out? He's going to be forever trying to fill in the gap of figuring out what he did to get you to cut him off, what he did to get you to, in the relationship. And I feel as though that's always the best way to leave a situation. In my opinion, that is always the best way to react when dealing with another person. I just am always going to keep them guessing. I'm always going to try to have it in their brain, like, where's all of this coming from? Because that's what men do. Men are very, very good at being unpredictable. They will be all up in your face. They will talk about how much they love you, how much they care about you. And then out of nowhere, they will tell you, like, you know what, I don't really think this is working. And you're over here like, but like we just took a trip to Cancun like a week ago, you know, or he'll be moving across the country and he's like, yeah, I want you to move. I want you to move with me. And then you move all your stuff and then he's like, yeah, I think it's best that we start seeing other people. And you're like, what are you talking about? You just asked me to like move and like move all of my stuff and like completely uproot my life to move with you. Where, and that's what women always say, where is all this coming from? Where is all this coming from? Yeah, it's because they weren't predictable and they just played it cool to make you think and not like get an inkling that they were going to break up with you, so that way you couldn't prepare. They just pulled the rug from up underneath you, so that way you could constantly be ruminating over the idea of, where's all this coming from? What did I do wrong? What could I have done different? Something is wrong with me. That's why men do it. They literally do it on purpose, so that way you can constantly keep thinking about them once the relationship is done. They purposely do this. They purposely do this. So this is why I always tell women, like, you already know if you're unhappy with somebody. You already know when the relationship is running its course. There is no need for you to like make threats and tell a man like, I'm going to break up with you if you don't do such and such. I'm going to do this if you don't do that. No, because guess what? You're now telling the man, okay, well, as long as I just get my act right and I just show her that I get my act together temporarily, and then over time, I'll just revert back to who I was, and then it'll just be this cycle over and over again. Because they already know, well, she said this before. You know what I mean? She said this stuff before and she took me back. So I know that it now works, that all I have to do is agree with her, say I'm sorry, tell her how much I love her, and then over time I'll just go back to doing the same stuff that I was doing, and then we'll just keep doing this cycle over and over and over, because you keep giving them the opportunity to do the things that you want them to do, because you're not emotionally detaching. Emotionally detaching is just like, you want to know what? I don't have the money. I don't have the money to end the relationship right now. I don't have the money to end the relationship right now. I need a place to stay. I need the financial backing from this man right now. I'm just going to play it cool, and I'm just going to pretend like nothing's wrong. Okay. I'm going to pretend like nothing's wrong. And then guess what? Once you have your plan in action, you just break up. You just don't even text him. You just ghost him. You're already living in your new place. You just ghost them, because you've already detached from the future that you thought that you were going to have with this person. You just accept the fact that, hey, it's not going to happen, or at least it's not going to happen with this person. The easiest way to emotionally detach is for you to be accepting of the situation being the situation. The earlier that you accept that something or someone is not going to change, the easier it is to emotionally detach from the situation. You have to accept that this is the person that's in front of you. You have to accept that this is that person's behavior, and it's not your problem, and there's nothing wrong with you, and there's nothing that you need to do to make the person behave any differently. It's not your problem. And guess what? I don't like keeping problems around me. I don't like keeping problems around me. I like to mitigate myself of any problems. And so I just say, you want to know what? This just isn't going to work out. That this person, I'm just going to, in my mind, do what I got to do. But as far as I'm concerned, mentally, the relationship is over. Like, I'm not going to keep fighting for this. You know what I mean? And that's what I was talking about. The situation with the girl with Texas. Yeah. The reason why he did that is just what I explained. He emotionally detached from the relationship. He emotionally detached from the relationship. He just needed someone to help him move to Texas and help him get over the fear of not having to move to a different state alone. That's what he did. He said, mentally, I'm checked out of the relationship, but I'm not ready to just move to another place alone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend like everything is fine. I'm going to pretend like our relationship is better than ever. And then I'm going to get her to pack up all her stuff, move with me to Texas. And then once I get comfortable and once I get everything in order and she decorates my house and I feel more comfortable, then that's when I'm going to break up with her. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break up with her. That's what it looks like to emotionally detach. And I know it's super, super cold. It sounds super cold, but as women, you have to understand that there are actually some things that men have in their mindset that's actually beneficial to them that you should implement. You really don't owe an answer to anybody. You really don't owe an answer to anybody. You don't want to answer to anybody. If you don't want to be with somebody anymore, you don't want to be with that person anymore. And the thing about it is there really a perfect time? When is the perfect time to break up with somebody? You know what I mean? When is the perfect time to break up with somebody? At what point? At what point do you decide that you're going to break up with somebody and end the relationship with somebody and it's going to hurt it, like any less at one point more than at another point? There isn't one. There isn't one, because a lot of women like to use this as an excuse as to why they should overstay their welcome in a relationship. They come up with all of these justifications. Well, he just got back on his feet, and if I break up with him now, who's going to help him? I don't want to hurt his feelings, and I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. it it's going to sting regardless. It's going to sting regardless. So this whole thing of like, you're leaving me, because men will try to gaslight you and be like, you're leaving me at the worst time, and I'm sorry. There's never going to be a time when someone is leaving you and it's going to feel good. I'm sorry. There's never going to be a time when someone is leaving you and you're happy about the fact that they're leaving you. Are there some moments worse than others when everything's crashing down and that's one extra thing added onto your plate? Yes. But independent, if any of those things were happening, it's not going to make the breakup hurt any less. It's still going to. So that's what my mindset has always been when it's come to like ending relationships with men and like just ending them, not like having a tiptoe and make up all these justifications as to why I should stick it out and why I should be considerate. It doesn't matter. It's not going to matter. If they wanted to stay with you and you break up with them, it's going to hurt them regardless. So you might as well rip the band-aid off and just detach and just say, you want to know what, I'm done with the situation. It is what it is. Because I love it when women break up with men and they don't give a warning. That's the best thing. That's the best thing that you could do as a woman. Break up with him, no warning. No arguing, no telling him what he needs to do, what he should do. Because at the end of the day, I look at men like adults, just like I'm an adult. I look at men like adults. I don't look at men like children. Another thing too, women look at men like children. And so that's another reason why women like to make all these justifications with men. He's just getting back on his feet and he's having a hard time and he's struggling. Okay, he's an adult. Like I had a friend like that. She was so afraid to get rid of her Dusty because she's like, what is he going to do, without me being there? The job that he has now, he got it because of me, and he just started the job and he won't have a place to stay. And I'm like, he's a grown adult. He will figure it out. Okay. Because that's how men look at women. Men are like, she'll figure it out. She's smart. She beautiful. She got it together. She'll figure it out. Men already know that women will get it together. I'm never going to be afraid of putting them in a predicament where they have to get it together. Like, it just is what it is. It just is what it is. They'll be okay. I promise you. They'll be okay. They'll be just fine. They'll figure it out. They will. They'll figure it out. And the thing about it too, the way that I look at it, if they really, really want to come out of their predicament in their situation, they're going to do what's necessary to be able to make that happen anyway. Like, no, they're grown. These are grown adult men that we're talking about. Um, like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not letting a relationship sour out in it and it's been expired. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not keeping expired old moldy milk in my refrigerator as if I don't have anything else to drink. Like, I'm sorry, to me that's stupid. To me that's silly. Um Another thing too, I think a lot of the time emotional detachment, when women have a hard time emotionally detaching, I think on a subconscious level, women do want to have control over certain situations. And like we do like to allow our emotions to be something that we use to try to get men to care and try to get men's attention. I am here to tell you they don't care. Okay. I can assure you they don't care. Those long text messages, those voice notes that you're sending, the love letters, the songs, all of these things that you're sending this man to try to get him to feel your pain, he is not ever going to feel it. He's not. He's not ever going to care half as much as you care. He is not going there is nothing that you can say or do that's going to make him care any more than he already doesn't care. It's a waste. It's a waste. I don't believe in sending those long text messages. I don't believe in, oh, we need to meet up and we needed it. No. Nope, there's no need to meet up. There's no need to for us to do any of that because the situation is done. The situation is over with. I also look at it like this too. Once you break up once, we broke up already. Okay. Once we broke up already. I feel like once you keep going back and forth and you keep going in this thing with like, oh, I want to go back for closure. And like, let's just say your attempt at getting closure does result in like you no longer are broken up with the person and y'all are back together. To me, it's a clear sign of a toxic relationship. I feel like once it's over the first time, it's over. It's over. I actually broke up with an ex while his mom was battling cancer and like she died not too long after. And I know that sounds really, really harsh. Like I know that sounds really, really, really mean, but it wasn't like I could be present in the moment to even like help him throughout that time simply because I just couldn't power through the relationship. I just couldn't power through the relationship and like really mentally put myself in a situation where I'm like, okay, I can be a girlfriend and like I really want to be here and I want to help you through this because it's like I just honestly, I wasn't going to be nice. And that's the way that I look at it. Like, okay, if I stay in this situation, like I'm not going to be nice in this situation when I'm doing something that I really don't want to do. And as much as I felt bad for him, a part of me also was just kind of like the universe also has to show people and like teach people lessons through these uncomfortable moments. And he was like really reliant on his mother and like he's seen his mother like be abused, but like she still stayed married to her husband. And he was really, really reliant on his mother. Like he definitely was like a mama's boy. And I felt really, really, really bad like leaving him in the midst of that. But also in that moment, I also was kind of like, I don't know if I can, I don't know if I can be a mom to someone after their mom is gone. I don't know if I can carry the burden of someone being codependent on me once their mother is gone, because like I just kind of felt like I kind of felt like that's what was going to happen next. And I'm sorry, I was in X-ray school. That was another thing too. I was in X-ray school. I already had a lot on my plate. I already had a lot on my plate. I could not add one more thing, going through all of this. You know what I mean? Like having to go through all of this. And so, yeah, I ended up breaking up with him in the midst of all of that. And I mean, thankfully, we ended up like still being cool. It wasn't something that he held over my head or held against me, because once again, the harsh reality in life is that not everything is going to line up in life the way that you want it to. You may lose your job, and then you may lose your parent the same day. You know what I mean? Or you may get diagnosed with something and then someone pass away the same day. We don't get that much control over our life already to begin with, to like plan out everything perfect, to make sure that we can have a life in which we could just stay comfortable, to plan everything to mitigate the least amount of like stress and hurt and pain possible. So that's how I was kind of like looking at it. But I kind of feel like that should just be an example to you, to kind of show you like, you like, it's okay. Like you're not an evil person. You're not an evil person. You're not a bad person. Um, what does your ex's parents have to do with you? Exactly. It's because he had mommy wounds. I don't know why I attract these men that like have mommy wounds, but he had a lot of issues with his family. Honestly, his issue was like our we didn't really have any issues in our relationship, but his core personal issues had a lot to do with his family, and it was bleeding into our relationship. And that was a reason why I just couldn't stay in the relationship with him anymore, because it's like, you have to talk to a therapist about that. That's not something that I should be carrying the burden of, because like I told you guys in the last live stream, I don't emotionally regulate men. I've never been somebody to emotionally regulate men, because men don't want to work on anything deeper until they get with a woman. As a woman, you cannot expect for a man to come into your life 30 years worth of things that have never been addressed, 30 years worth of things that have not been resolved, 30 years worth of things that have never even been spoken about within their own family, and for this person to come to you and for them to dump all of this stuff on you, and for it to not impact your life in some type of way, if you choose to continue to keep dealing with this person. That's what a therapist is for. Okay. A therapist is there for you to work through these problems with. I can't I can't do that. I can't do that, because I'm going to go to a therapist every time. I may bring up, I feel like at some point you have to have a boundary to know what you can and cannot handle, and learn within yourself where that boundary lies with you. And I just cannot regularly emotionally regulate somebody. It's it's way past what I'm capable of, and for me to stay centered at the same time. So, um and this is another reason why, like you're saying, like, with men emotionally opening up, it's not even that women don't like it when men emotionally open up. It's the fact that these men are waiting 18 years to open up to somebody. And so when they're opening up to you, it's just boom, 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 boom. It's like all of these like heavy, large, burdening things. And it's like, That's a lot for one person. Okay. Like you have to think like a therapy session. You may do one therapy session for an hour a week, and you may go to therapy for a whole entire year and you still have not unpacked everything. You're talking about somebody living under the same roof as you, having access to call you whenever you want, and they could just constantly, continuously dump on you. There's no boundaries like it would be for a therapist. And I just kind of feel like with me in regards to men, they just overstep that boundary when it comes to the level of emotional regulation that they expect women to do. But I went on a tangent there. I guess it's like another subject for a different day. Um, but also, I guess that does kind of tie in line with your level of emotional detachment. I think that's the reason why emotional detachment has always been easy for me, because I don't emotionally regulate men that much. And so when I haven't put a strong and a large emotional investment into something, I'm not attaching myself strongly to that person for me to want to hold on to that person. Okay, because I've always understood that my emotions as a woman is a hefty investment. And so I've always exercised emotional self-control. So I've always chosen um when I'm going to allow somebody to emotionally open up to me. I'm going to choose how, and I'm going to choose if I respond or not. Because yeah, like it's some things that I'm like, I can't handle that. I just wouldn't be of any help or of any agency to you. You know what I mean? And another thing too is like, I think another part of being emotionally detached is that you can't care about validation. That's another thing too. I've never cared a whole lot about validation. So detachment wasn't really something that came hard to me, because if I'm the villain in somebody's story, well then I'm just the villain in somebody's story. You know what I mean? If somebody is going to call me evil because I didn't stick around during their worst times, well, then guess what? I mean, I guess I'm just going to have to be that evil person. You know what I mean? I guess I'm just going to have to be that evil person, because I'm going to be evil either way. I'm going to be evil either way, because if I stay in the situation, then I'm not going to be present. I'm not going to be present. And it's like, it'll be damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm telling you. It'll be damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you stay in a situation that you don't want to be there, you're not going to be present enough, and the person is still going to feel that like you're lacking. The person is still going to feel like you're inadequate. So it's always just made sense to me to be like, if I'm going to be here and then not be present, then there's no point in me being here. There's no point in me doing anything. And then that's the thing too, even if you do everything right, if they want to paint a narrative and they want to get sympathy from somebody, they're still going to point you out to be the villain. Even if you did everything right, they still are going to point you out to be the villain. So, what is the point of like trying to hold on to these relationships because you're afraid of like the picture that someone's going to paint of you? Who cares? Who cares if they want to put dirt all on your name and they want to vilify you? Oh, well, let them vilify you. Let them vilify you because you didn't want to be in a situation and you didn't want to be in a relationship with them anymore. Oh, well. Exactly. I'll be crazy. I'll be mean. I'll be all of the things that you are telling people that I have to be. As long as it means that I no longer have to be in the situation with that person, for me, that's freedom. That's freedom, because that's another thing too. Being free from somebody's opinion of you, being emotionally detached from somebody's opinion on you. Do we all leave jobs? Do we all leave jobs and everybody likes us? Did every single coworker that you work with, were all of them just super sad to see you go? No. There were some people who you thought that you were nice to them, or maybe you didn't talk to them and it was time for you're quitting your job and it's time for you to move on, and there were people there that they were happy to see you go. They were happy to see you go, and you never did anything to them. You never said anything mean to them, and they were so happy to see you go. And they're going to say, "Oh, well, she was stuck up, or she was this, or she was that." Okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. You know, you have to know yourself and just be happy. You just have to know yourself and be happy with what role that you played. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, oh, she used me for money, or she's a gold digger, or she's this or that. Okay, I'll be that. Although I've never had a person give me money that they didn't offer to give me. I've never twisted somebody's arm. I've never threatened somebody to give me money. But if they feel as though they were slighted and they feel as though they didn't get everything they wanted out of the situation, guess what? They're gonna call me that anyway. They're gonna call me that anyway. And I remember there was a guy that I had like dealt with, and I remember this was back at a time where he actually was putting me in a predicament where I it was making it real easy for me to emotionally react. And I just started calling him names. You want to know what he said? He said, "You want to know what? I'll be that." He literally texted me that. He said, "You want to know what? I'll be that." And when I reflected back, I was like, "You want to know what?" I didn't have anything to say at that point because he just owned it. He said, "You know what? Fine, you're calling me all these things. I'll be that. I'll let you think that." And that like really put things into perspective for me because it stopped me in my tracks, because I'm like, well, now I'm just wasting energy if I say anything else to him, because he just made it very clear that he doesn't care. He just made it clear that he's like, okay. So this is why I say, like, you have to have that mindset. You have to have that mindset of like, you want to know what? I'll be that then. I'll be this evil person. And they're going to be like, they're not going to know what to do. They're not going to know what to do because you're comfortable with the fact that in their story, you're the villain. You know what I mean? Oh, you didn't get a notification? Dang. She said, "I know they threw a party when I left my last job." When I worked in New York City, when I had worked around like 61st Street when I was working in New York City. And child, there was one girl, she made it very clear to everybody she was happy to see me go. Congratulations on the job. Congrats. Love that. The girl was happy. She was telling everyone. She was telling everyone. She was like, "Yeah, I can't wait until it's her last day. I hope she never has to come back here to work." She was happy as hell. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. Not too far away from the like Roosevelt like air track thingy majiggy. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Yes, I love seeing my ladies win. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you got the job. Congratulations. That's awesome. That is awesome. Another thing too, I'm not going to explain myself to anybody either. That's another thing that I had to learn how to let go. Um I've really just learned to be the observer. I just observe, and I deduce what it is that I need to deduce from the situation, and then I just act accordingly. I'm not gonna over explain. I'm not gonna over explain and like hand the cards over to the other person so that way they can manipulate the situation. I'm gonna observe and then make what decision it is that I need to make. And another thing too, I like really had to reprogram my nervous system when it came to emotional detachment. I think that if you do have a hard time with emotional detachment, it's really one of two reasons why you have an issue with emotional detachment. Number one, you have an abandonment trauma, you have an issue with abandonment. And number two, you have a fear of rejection or you're highly sensitive to rejection. Um, and you're gonna notice, like, I feel as though when you're at a point where you have to decide if you need to react to something, your body is going to tell you, like, like a lot of the times when I'm in a situation where I want to react to something, I get like this like pit in my stomach, and I could feel like my heart racing, and I feel like there's like a lot of thoughts like going in my brain, and so I always have to tell myself to like stop. Like, you have to stop, you have to like not be impulsive. And I remember telling myself like, okay, 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 breathe, breathe, breathe. Like, if it was in regards to like a text message or something like that, I would have to like pause and then like delay and tell myself like, okay, I'm not gonna. I'll wait 10 minutes and then I'll text him. And then I'm like, okay, no, then I'll wait a half an hour and then I text him. After a while of doing that, you'll realize that you've been able to delay your reactions long enough that you're not like going in autopilot just reacting to things. You actually can like take time. You can actually take time to be like, okay, I'm not going to react to this situation. I'm just going to slow down. I'm just going to slow down and like think for a second, think for a beat, and then kind of orchestrate this a little bit better. You know what I mean? Because once you sit down for a beat and you realize, like, okay, I don't really need to like react, I don't really need to lash out the way that I want to lash out, you have more power. I'm telling you, you have more power at that point because in most cases, the person is expecting for you to kind of lash out. They're expecting for you to react um in some form of fashion where they're going to be able to have control over you or power over you in the situation. Cuz this is why men will be like, "See, this is why I didn't want to tell you. This is the reason why I didn't want to tell you because I just knew. I just knew that this is how you were going to react. I knew that you were going to be acting crazy and doing all this." They're just going to flip it right back on you and try to make it seem as if you've inconvenienced them now because of your reaction. Um and yeah, if you have a parent who died, if you have a parent that wasn't there, those are all abandonment wounds. Like, if you had a parent who would like leave and then they would come back and then they would leave and they would come back, or they would say that they would come and they would never come, like, those are all forms of abandonment. Like, those are all forms of abandonment. So once somebody leaves you, you don't want to put yourself in a predicament where someone is going to leave you again. So it's just easier for you to hold on to situations because you don't want to feel the pain of like having to be abandoned again. And this would see, like, this is the reason why I have the spiritual channel, because a lot of these conversations, they start to go over into a level of like spirituality, because abandonment issues, the root of abandonment issues is the fact that we don't own anything or people, and unfortunately we don't have control over people staying in our life because nothing is going to last forever. People are going to die. You're not going to keep somebody in your life forever, so we all have a form of abandonment. We're all going to have a form of abandonment in our life, like someone dying, a parent dying, that it's going to be abandonment. It's going to be abandonment because the person's not going to be here anymore. You know what I mean? And once you deal with that, you don't want to go through that anymore, because obviously that's painful. You know what I mean? That's painful when somebody leaves you, but it gets much deeper. Like, it gets much deeper. This is why I always recommend the ladies, like, it really is beneficial to follow both channels, this one and the spiritual one, because I can't go deeper onto like how you overcome these things without taking it to a deeper level outside of this channel. You know what I mean? Would have asked for a Whole Foods and Williams Sonoma gift card. Only the best for him since he wants some effing food. Yeah, I can't stand that. I can't stand that. For real, I wish back then I would have taken the time to wait before I act on emotions. And and the thing about it is that, like, this is another thing too. You can really spin your emotions however you want to. Like, I'm a firm believer, like, a good crash out occasionally, a good crash out is therapeutic. A good crash out is freaking therapeutic. Like, that crash out from my last job, I'm sorry. Like, I needed that crash out. I really did need to have that crash out, and it was so therapeutic for me. So, this is not me saying that, like, you have to be emotionally on mute every single time. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you have to be selective on who, what, when, and where you are going to be reactive. But more often than not, most situations are not going to warrant you to be reactive. Most situations are going to warrant you to be emotionally detached and for you to sit for a beat before you react to something. Honestly. Um it's just one of those things where it's just like, yeah, in most cases it's not going to benefit you to react to majority of things. So just want to make that clear because I don't want somebody to feel bad for crashing out. Sometimes it really is good for you to crash out and cuss a motherfucker out. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it really is necessary. And then guess what? You can cuss them out with no expectation because it's your mindset. You can cuss them out, and instead of you thinking, you know what, I'm about to let this MF have a piece of my mind, and you get to, the keyboard's on fire, you over here, you know, you can do that. You can do that, but you also have to understand that I have no expectation from this person based off of me crashing out. This crash out is for me. I'm gonna give this MFer a piece of my mind, and then that's it. I'm done with this person. I'm blocking this person, and I'm moving on with my life. That's how you properly crash out. You crash out to get the last word, and you quit dealing with the person. You no longer need to hear anything what the person got to say, because me, when I'm crashing out, I'm crashing the fuck out and I'm blocking the person after. Because the crash out is for me. It's not for them. The crash out is for me. I'm gonna give you a piece of my mind, and I don't give a fuck what you got to say. I'm getting this off my chest because I need to get it off my chest, and then I'm blocking you, and then I'm moving on with my life. To me, that's a proper crash out. Crash out at the very, very, very end, and you have no expectation, um, from the person. It says it's spiritually hurtful that American men have abandoned us. Why are women's rights negotiable? And it hurts our feelings. Honestly, I'm kind of happy that they've abandoned us, because now it gives women more motivation to rise up, because we're not meant to be under the thumb of men. We're not meant to be under the thumb of men. And in order for that to change, like, more radical decisions have to be made. But that's a different conversation for a different day. Honestly, that's a different conversation for a different day. But don't get me wrong. I'm always going to be supportive of a proper. I'm always going to be supportive of a proper crash out, because they're necessary. They're definitely necessary, but you know what I mean. But most of the time, these men, I wouldn't give them the fucking lint out of my pocket. To be honest, I wouldn't give them the fucking lint out of my pocket, let alone my emotions in reaction to something that they did. Like, no. Most of the time, it's just like, you want to know what? It's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. And I try to do things before I react. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I try to, like, play some music or journal if I can go work out, or if I need to, like, cry or something. Um Sometimes I pretend like I'm gonna send a text message and I don't send it. Sometimes I send a voice memo, and I pretend like I'm gonna send it and then I don't send it and I listen to it and I'm like, damn, I actually do sound kind of crazy. It does sound pretty raw in my voice, but at least I let it out and I don't have to worry about somebody having that and like showing it to their friends or trying to embarrass me or, trying to paint this narrative to other people that like, see, like she's obsessed with me. Like, look at her crashing out and like going crazy over me and yada, yada, yada. It's all very situational, but you ladies are smart. You ladies know when and who and how you're supposed to use this stuff, right? You all have enough discernment to know when it's going to be beneficial to be crashing out and when it's going to be beneficial to just not even exhaust your emotional energy to someone, right? Yep, I had a crash out on the doctor I work with and he cut all his nonsense that same day. Yeah, because when this is why I say it's really based off of predictability. If someone's known you long enough and they know that you're a crash out, when they know that you're a crash out, okay, you can't crash out because you're too predictable. They know that your setting is crash out. So obviously in that predicament that you can't obviously in that predicament you can't crash out. A lot of doctors, they're not expecting a woman, like let alone a pretty woman, to like be sitting here and putting her foot down and like crashing out in the doctor's office and being like, you need to listen to what the fuck I'm telling you. Usually they're not expecting that. That's like a high level of unpredictability. So once you actually like you sit here and you do something that they weren't expecting, then that's when they're gonna be like, whoa, okay, like whatever you say, like I'll go on ahead and do it because they weren't expecting it. You know what I mean? It wasn't a level of predictability that was associated with the behavior that they were expecting from you. You know what I'm saying? How do you be sure you're not harboring that energy inward? By realizing, okay, I want to make sure I'm reading this right. How do you be sure you're not harboring that energy inward? By finding other ways to expel it outward. I tell emotions is energy in motion. That's what emotions are. Emotions is energy in motion. When you have emotions that are stagnant, it's like murky water, right? It's like water that is still. Water that is still, it is nasty. It's nasty. There's all types of, moss and algae and there's not even any insects or anything that because that water is disgusting. There's really nothing swimming around in that water because the water isn't moving, the water isn't flowing. And so this is how you have to look at your emotions need to be flowing, like your emotions need to be flowing in some way outward. That's going to be unique to you, whether you sing or you write or you dance. That's your own personal way that you have to exercise how you let your emotions flow. I like to dance. Dancing is the number one way that I am going to have my emotions flow throughout my body and for me to get back centered. It's going to be different. It's going to be different for everybody, but you won't internalize anything when you actually let those emotions flow outward, particularly not outward on another person, outward in like some type of like grounding activity. But like I said, that's going to be different for everybody. You know what works for you. You know what I'm saying? You know what works for you. It's not like they are internal emotions about myself. It's only emotions about him being an asshole. I think it comes from this thing because it's like it's hurtful for someone to be an asshole. And so I think as women, we take it personal. And the thing about it is that we take it personal because we believe that what did I do to deserve that? I didn't deserve that. How could somebody treat me so terrible? the harsh reality of life is that you're not going to get treated better. Like, so I seen a really good video on TikTok. Actually, I feel like this is the perfect time for me to be bringing up this message. I had a video come up on my TikTok, and he pretty much was talking about how people believe that morality and the goodness and the kind nature of yourself as a person is what's going to get you a reward. And he was pretty much talking about how a lot of people don't understand how evil people that do evil things, they go on to be very successful. And the reason being is because, and once again, this is something that would is this is something I can't talk about that deep on this channel because it would be more so for the spiritual channel. All the universe cares about, because guess what? All of this is a construct. Good is a construct. Bad is a construct. That's made up. That's made up. Those are just constructs that were created to keep us civilized. There is no rule book that says this deems you as a good person. This deems you as a bad person. Somebody made that up. The universe does not care about you being a good person or not. The universe does not care about someone being an asshole to you or not. All the universe cares about is that, are you on the frequency of where you want to be? Are you on the frequency of where you want to be? Most good people, most people who are big on morality are not radiating at the frequency in which they want to be at. So they end up taking things personal when somebody is an asshole to them. How somebody treats you, it's not an indicator of you. It's not an indicator of anything with you. The person treated you like an asshole because they're an asshole. It's really that simple. There's really no need to go deeper into it. It's like with anything else, a person cheating. The reason why the person cheated is because they're a cheater. That's it. That's it. That's all. The person is a cheater because they decided to go cheat. It's really that simple. They didn't cheat on you because you were ugly. They didn't cheat on you because you didn't want to sleep with them. They didn't cheat on you because yada yada. They didn't cheat on you because of anything like that. They cheated on you because they chose to cheat. It's really that simple. It has nothing to do with you, because you got plenty of people out here doing everything right and they're getting cheated on. You got plenty of people out here doing everything that they're supposed to be doing, and they're not in the predicament in life that they want to be in, because they're not radiating, they're not at the frequency of where they want to be at, because the world doesn't care about that. The universe doesn't care about that. So I kind of look at it like this. If the universe doesn't care about that, why should you? You know what I'm saying? So this is why they're constantly trying to, like you're saying, like they're constantly trying to ridicule women for any and everything, because they don't want women to have this mindset that I'm trying to instill in you. They don't want women to have this mindset that I'm trying to instill in you, to not care about these things, because it's not real. These are useless, worthless things to care about. How good can I be? How nice can I be? How polite can I be? When you hear stories of women talking about how they got essayed, how they got abused, how they got harassed, it was always because they were thinking about how nice they could be and how comfortable they could make another person feel. Every single time, whenever I hear women give these stories about how they've been put in compromising situations, it's always been based off of how they were trying to make another person feel comfortable. So that should tell you something. Women have to tiptoe around everybody else's feelings and how everyone else is feeling just for them to get abused in the process. So that should tell you something. That should tell you that you're not being rewarded for you being polite. You're not being rewarded for you being a good person. You're taught to be a nice person and a polite person so people can exploit you. No one can exploit you when you're being mean. No one can exploit you when you're being a bitch. That's why they're going to call you those things. That's why they're going to demonize that behavior, because they can't benefit from you when you decide, fuck you, fuck your feelings. I don't care. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about what you think about me. I need to be looking out for myself. You can't exploit people that have that frame of thinking. You can't. It's Queen the Mystic. I have it linked in my link tree on my in the description of my biography on here, but it's Queen the Mystic. That's the spiritual channel. Yeah, exactly. No one can abuse you when you're mean. No one can abuse you when you're a bitch. That's why I said you have to not care about what people think about you. For a lot of women, people are going to call you the meanest names once they realize that they can't benefit from you. They're going to start calling you all types of names once they realize that, you know what, I can't play her. I can't manipulate her. I can't get what I want out of her. So I'm going to call her all these names. Well, then guess what? I'll be that. If it means that I don't have to deal with all of the trauma that would be inflicted on me had I been nice, had I been polite, had I been considerate, then I will be those mean, harsh words all day long. Because I'm these mean, harsh words, but guess what? I don't have traumatic experience after traumatic experience after traumatic experience either. Karma's real, but karma's not real in the way that they try to make it seem like. Okay, karma's not real in the way that they try to make it seem like. Karma, hold on. Okay, so I feel like it's really important. I feel like it's really important for I it's very important for you to start looking up the etymology of words, okay? Etymology, because we live in a world that is constantly working off of your emotions. And so, what we've done is that instead of people knowing the definition of a word, they take a word and they have an emotional tie to the word, because it's like the word bitch. Okay, bitch just is a female dog. Bitch literally means female dog. Am I really going to be insulted by someone calling me a female dog? Because that's what bitch means. It's the emotions that people have attached to being called a bitch that hurts their feelings. When in reality, a bitch just means a female dog. Roof, 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 roof. You're calling me an animal that goes roof, 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 and sleeps and eats dog food and can have babies. Oh my god, I'm gonna fall to the floor because I'm so upset that someone called me a female dog. It's the definition, the true definition that you should always be paying attention to, not not the emotion that comes along with it, because when people think karma, people think consequence. People think people think revenge when people think karma. That's what they think. When reality, the etymology of karma is action. Action, deed. That's what karma means. Karma literally means action, work, deed. All karma means is that there is that you have work to be done. This is why they say you will come back, you will reincarnate back as somebody else, because you have karmic debt. Karmic debt just means that there's something that you didn't work on in the previous life that you need to continuously work on in the next life. That's what karma is. It's not revenge, it's not a consequence, it's not that. It just simply means there's something that you didn't learn the first time, there's something that you didn't grasp before, and so we need to make sure that that work is done for you to learn. That's all it is. It's really that simple. This whole, oh my god, they're going to get karma, they're not going to get karma in the way that you're thinking. It's just a lesson that they haven't learned, and they're going to have to learn that lesson, and that's going to look different for everybody. It's going to look different for everybody. So that's I want to make that like a very, very clear distinction um when it comes to karma. Now, do I believe that coming back, like, as a man, like, I feel like coming back as a man, yeah, you probably have a lot of lessons that you need to learn, and there probably was a level of ascension that you didn't reach, and that's why people will come back as men. There's just a level that that they didn't get a chance to reach. There's just a level of ascension that they didn't get to reach. So their soul's like, okay, I'm not ready to come back as a woman. Because you can reincarnate back as anything. You can come back as a child, you can come back as an elderly person, you can come back as a cat. It's just all going to be based on whatever lesson that you needed to learn. Maybe your karma is like, oh, you want to know what, I won't allow people to take care of me, I don't trust people to take care of me. You may reincarnate, you may come back as a cat, you may come back as a stray cat to teach you to let somebody love on you and trust the process and let somebody take you in and take care of you. That might be your karmic lesson, and you may learn that karmic lesson through being a freaking cat. Like, I mean, it really is just it really is like that, kind of like, it's an oversimplification, obviously, that I'm like trying to explain, but that's like an example of like it being karma. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean like, oh, you cheated on someone and so your karma is going to be that you come back and you have a permanent STD. You know what I mean? Like, no, it doesn't mean that. It's just whatever action indeed needs to be continued. That's I would love to come back as a cat. I would love to come back as a cat, to be honest. Yep, the words you use can be spells. That's why it's like you because that's the thing too. You give words power. You give words power. So this is why I say, like, someone will get called a bitch and it might hurt their feelings. It may really hurt their feelings. And that's not for me to say that I wouldn't see a person using that word as being disrespectful, but I would not put enough power onto those words to take it personal. I just would understand that this person is trying to disrespect me, and that's a disrespectful person. And that's where I draw the line. That's where I draw the line. They're being disrespectful. That's on them. I know, like, they're over here trying to hurt me with some words that I don't give any power to. So it's not going to impact me. They're just trying to be disrespectful. You know what I mean? But child, I'm not trying to come back to learn a ton of lessons. That's why I'm trying to get it right now. And that's the thing too. Insults are based off of reaction. This is why the first thing that men want to do when they don't get their way with women, what do? They emotionally react. You're a bitch, you're a whore, you're a slut, you're a this, you're that. They start emotionally reacting with insults. They start emotionally reacting by trying to hurl a ton of insults at you. They can't get that. They can't get away with that with me because guess what? I don't give words no power. I don't give those words any power for me to care about being called those words. So like that guy I told you about earlier, I took a little hint out of his playbook. You want to know what? I'll be that. I'll be that. You want to call me a 304 and a this and a that, then I'll be that. Yeah, I believe in the afterlife. And if you watch documentaries where people have NDEs, near death experiences, like, this is the reason why I don't believe that you should be afraid of like death. If you watch documentaries on NDEs, you're not going to fear death. You're not going to fear death. Death is another one of those things that they constantly want to propagate to make you be fearful of. They constantly want you to be fearful of death. Yeah, the reason why they want you to be fearful of death is because they want you to fear the unknown more than you dislike this reality that you live in, where you have to wake up and you have to punch a fucking clock to make a living, to pay for health insurance that by chance you would have to need, to pay for car insurance that by chance you would have to need, to pay for food that you could grow in the ground. But for a lot of people, it can literally be illegal for you to grow food out of the ground. So that way you can pay, so that way you can make enough money to drink water that they put a price on, instead of allowing us to go to a spring and be able to just collect and drink said water. Yeah, they want you to be so fearful of the unknown, of what's on the other side, that you want to keep holding on to this reality. Because imagine how different life would look if people weren't fearful. If people weren't fearful of death, if people just didn't care. They wouldn't, people wouldn't even care about living. People would be like, you want to know what? Forget it. This is the reason why they made homelessness be illegal. Why do you think they made homelessness be illegal? Because they understand that they're pushing the envelope so far. They're pushing the envelope so far that people want to opt out. People want to opt out of this game. People will just say, you want to know what? Fuck it. I don't want any bills. I don't want any bills. I don't want any responsibility. I'll just go be homeless, and I'll just go forage for food. And food is the only thing that I would have to worry about. That's the reason why they're making it illegal to be homeless, because they understand that there are people out there, they're tired. People are frustrated. People are tired. People are at their breaking point. People are at their freaking breaking point. Cause child, I know me, I'm like, you want to know what? I don't even care. Even with ultrasound, I had like a whole ego death in regards to ultrasound, because I'm like, what does all of this stuff even mean? What does all of this stuff even mean? It doesn't even mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. I know I'm going super woo woo. I'm so sorry. I know I'm going super, super woo woo on this channel, and I normally don't. Um, but you know what I mean? It's like, what does all of this mean? I can't take any of this stuff with me. Once I'm dead, I'm not going to have any bills to pay. You know what I mean? I remember like stressing over bills. And I remember one day I woke up and I was like, what's the purpose of me stressing over bills? Like, when it's time for me to die, I'm not going to have to pay no bills anyway. What's the point of me sitting here and being all stressed over this stuff? Like, what's the point? There's no point. Like, what's the point of me stressing? What's the point of me freaking stressing over that stuff? When I literally could go to another country and live in another country, and guess what? Don't got to worry about no credit score. You know, you go to a place, you ain't got to worry about no credit score. As long as you have a form of income that you can prove that you can cover the expenses, there you go. Like, no, I'm not dealing with all of this stuff and having all these things to stress about. I'm not going to. They've done too much. They've done too much. Cause like, and the thing about it is that men aren't even spiritually connected enough. So men really don't care. This is why men just live so, this is why you see mostly men being homeless anyway. Because men genuinely don't care. They're just like, you want to know what? I'm just going to live life day by day. I'm going to live life day by day. I'm not going to seek out anything in regards to the future. And if it works out, it works out. And if it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. Like, men just, their mindset is just like, whatever. Men think the worst hell is money. I know. And it's like, for a group of people to talk about money, how come they don't have any? For a group of men to be scared of gold diggers, you would think that they would have a ton of money. I told him I'm fine living alone and being alone. He was like, if your options are being alone or being with me, come live with me. I was like, no, like, hell no. I think the only people that have credit scores is just the West. I think it's only just Western. I think it's just Canada and United States. I don't know any other places that have credit score. I know on the East, like I know in Thailand and in Asia, they don't have a credit score. They don't have a credit score. In the history of the credit score, the history of the credit score is even more sinister because the only reason why we have a credit score is because folks was racist. That's the only reason why we have a credit score. Yes, there are social credit scores in other countries. Yeah, like I think in China they have, I think China has a social credit score. I do. I'm pretty for sure China has a social credit score. Aw, thank you, Leslie. I appreciate you. The spiritual channel is Queen the Mystic. Pretty much any advanced country. So pretty much any advanced country is going to have some source of credit, whether it be your financial credit or your social credit. Usually any like advanced developed country, they're going to be clocking you in some way, shape, or form. Countries that really aren't all that developed, no, you're not going to have to worry about that. You don't want to have a social credit score because social credit score is pretty much like it would be like having a authoritative dictator, and if you don't do what's in a line of the dictatorship, and if your views and your opinions don't align with the dictatorship, then that'll drop your social credit score, and then essentially your social credit score would be tied to like a bank, and it could be tied to your car. And so if they like knock off like certain amount of points, then like you can't get into your bank, you can't drive your car. Like there are daily things that you wouldn't be able to do with like your social credit score, you know? Because it's like all like male dictators or whatever. And it's like an authoritative type of like figure that you have to like pledge an allegiance to for you to keep your social score be high. Like if you watch enough episodes of Black Mirror, go watch Black Mirror. They literally have an episode about it in one of the earlier seasons on Black Mirror. And that's exactly what happened. It was an episode where it was like it was like Instagram, but really the Instagram was a social credit score. So like the amount of likes that you would get would influence your social credit score. And whenever you would go out in public, everybody could see your social credit score, like how you could see if you were on Uber. And so essentially, like the girl couldn't get transportation because she had got like one bad review for her social credit score. Yeah. If Black Mirror, I'm telling you, Black Mirror, all of the episodes, like majority of the episodes, it all makes sense. It does. It all makes sense. If you haven't watched Black Mirror, it's a show on Netflix. It's really, really, really good. Essentially, it's a show where there's just all of it's kind of centered around tech. It's centered around tech and like how far our technological advances influence our socialization with other people. That's really what the show is about. Like, okay, so the episode is called Nosedive. Like, they have another one with Tracy Ellis Ross and Rashida Jones. And essentially, Rashida like has this brain injury, and they can fix the brain injury with this like brand new technology where they put this like it's like a warehouse. It's the warehouse that thinks for the part of her brain that is impaired. And that means that it's a technological advancement where the warehouse is operating the function of her brain that she lost through her accident. And it was like a subscription service. So, like based off of the tiers of subscriptions that you have for like Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, it'll be ad free. It'll be you can play the stuff in the background. And so because her brain portion was attached to the warehouse, it was it was going to function based off of her subscription level. So the baseline subscription had ads. So she was saying the ads to people. She would just be sitting here having a conversation and was like, if someone brought up makeup in the middle of a conversation, she would be like, she wouldn't actually like grab the product, but she'd be like, one size, turn up the base, full beat liquid foundation. And she would like literally like start talking like an advertisement. I don't want to spoil the episode, but the episode's really good because it's an indicator of like how far this whole subscription shit like really can go. Because I know me, I got rid of all my subscription services. I got rid of every single one of my subscription services because it's getting out of control. It's getting out of control. Like before we know it, these subscription services are going to be $50 a month. It's getting out of control. Even my Linktree, I pay $9.99 a month for Linktree, and I literally just got an email yesterday saying that for my Linktree, it went from $9.99 a month to $15.99 a month. It was either $15 or $13.99 a month, and that was for me to just keep my Linktree activated. So I got rid of all of my subscriptions because it's getting out of control. It's getting out of control, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna pay $17.99 for what? For me to keep binge watching the same TV shows, for me to be able to binge watch the current relevant show that everybody's talking about. Like, no. And then the whole sinister thing of them being like, you can't share households, like, just ridiculous. And it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. And the more people keep conforming to pay for that stuff, they're going to keep upping the prices because they're like, well, you had no problem when we went to $8 to $15, and then they go from $15 to $25. They got no problem with that. What would stop them from going to $25 to $50? Like, what would stop them from doing that when people keep paying every time they up the price? Yeah, like exactly. Yes, it's really $20 for Chat GPT. It's $20 a month for Chat GPT. And like I think the highest tier for YouTube, if you have premium, like the family plan, it's like 20 bucks. That's 40 bucks a month just for two freaking things. Like, mm-mm. Because when I get into my new place, like this place is furnished because I had to get it for my travel assignment. But like the next place that I get, it'll actually be my place. I'm going to furnish it. I don't even think I'm gonna buy a TV, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think I'm gonna purchase a TV. I don't think I want a TV in my home. Now my father, he be slinging them boxes. They got the boxes with the we got the boxes where they have all the streaming content on there. Child, my father be slanging them stream boxes. He be selling them things for like 250 a pop. Them things he be selling them things like like hotcakes. Yeah, I see the projectors. Yeah, I was gonna say I think I'm just gonna get a projector. I'm not getting a TV. And then once I found out that I had no idea, but the generators for I didn't know that they put those generators for AI in like low income places, and it's ruining the water supply. This is the reason why I say I can't stand it. I can't stand it when men are like, men built the world and you're this and you're that. And it's like, okay, but we have all of these things because they're exploiting somebody. They're exploiting somebody in order for us to have these things. And this is the part that pisses me off. I'm not going to be grateful for the things that these people are doing when they're fucking exploiting a ton of people to give it to us. Like it's crazy the level of exploitation that we have. Like I literally was just watching a documentary about how I literally was watching a documentary about like how our seafood is sourced and how essentially like in other countries they find people that are like poor and destitute that really need money, and like they give these people this promise of like making all of this money to be able to source seafood, and like they treat the people like shit. Like it's literally slavery that they have these people under to be able to source seafood for the United States, and like all of these other like, for all of these other things, it makes no sense. We pay for water and food, grateful. Exactly. That's what I'm always saying. I'm like, I don't understand. It's like men want us to be grateful for capitalism. And it's like, I think we would have been, I think it's just a different form of survival. Capitalism is just a different form of survival. Point blank, period. The survival that would have been with us having to like forage and like protect ourselves from animals, protect ourselves from invaders, understand the weather, understand poisonous berries, having to find a water source. I mean, it would have been it's still survival at the end of the day. It's still survival at the end of the day. Like, so the way that I look at it, it's like, okay, I guess I could be grateful, but I still have to survive. I now have to live a life where my survival is so I don't have to go back to our baseline level of survival is. They just created an artificial way of survival. They created an artificial way of survival and was like, you should be happy. You should be grateful that you have this. Aren't you so glad that we came up with a new way for you to have survival? It's like, not really. Not really. Exactly, exactly. Artificial situation where, yes, you're dependent on them. You look like my mom's little sister, like, you literally look like you're a part of our family. Aw, I get that so often, like, I get it so often, I feel like every place that I go to, someone recognizes me or they think that they recognize me because there's a family member that they know that looks like me, and they're like, "You look exactly like her," and I'm like, "I wonder what that means." Like, on a spiritual level, I wonder what that means to be so recognizable by people that you don't share, or that at least you don't think that you share blood with. Like, I wonder what that means. And thank you. You all are so kind. Appreciate you. But I get that often. People always are like, "Are you related to so and so?" And I'm like, "I'm not. Not that I know of." I legit think I'm gonna ditch a TV. Like, I literally don't even think I'm gonna get a projector. I just wanna be still. I wanna be still with my own thoughts. I'm getting closer and closer, like, more into, like, this hermit phase in my life where it's like, I just don't wanna have all these distractions anymore. I feel like shit after I let myself, like, constantly keep scrolling, constantly, keep allowing myself to be distracted. I just can't stand it. I feel horrible after. I got hit with, "You look like my wife," immediate disgust. I would have been disgusted too. Plot twist, queen is actually God. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? Because, yeah, wonder if they're picking up on your energy vibes, not just the look. Maybe, but it started to scare me. It started to scare me because I used to tell my mom that I'm like, "Mom, I'm concerned. Like, is there something that I don't know?" Like, and I asked my dad the same thing too. I'm like, "Is there something that I don't know, like in regards to our family? Like, are there more people that I'm not aware of?" Because people keep saying that they recognize me or that I look like somebody that's in their family. And the thing about it is that I have books, but the book that I have that I was reading, I don't want to read that book. I don't want to read that book. So I have to think of another book that I wanna, read. I think I'm pretty sure what book it is that I want to, read next. I'm pretty for sure because I've been reading a lot of, I've been reading and looking into, like, more, like, occult teachings and stuff like that. But I learned all of that stuff through YouTube, but there is a YouTube channel, and I really, really like his stuff. Um, I really, really like his stuff, and he does have a book on, like, his occult teachings, and so I think I actually might purchase his book. Aw, thank you, appreciate you. Thank you, Stitch Beetle. If we have doppelgangers in a parallel universe, I hope she's living it up because this one ain't it, child. I hope so too. I hope so too. And knowing my dad, I might have a sister. I might have another sister I don't know about. And honestly, I like YouTube because I like supporting creators. I do. I like supporting creators. I'm sorry. I don't really want to. I mean, of course, YouTube itself is a corporation, like, okay, but it's a corporation that helps creators. I don't want to support Netflix and Hulu that have enough money to, buy out large production, places or large production companies and like I don't want to do that. I really do like looking at the craftsmanship of other creators and like the personalities of other creators and things like that. Like I genuinely enjoy YouTube for that reason because I just really do enjoy looking at the creativity that other creators have and like different niches that they have and like their spin on different things. Like I genuinely do enjoy that from YouTube and YouTube is like I mean when it comes to long form content, that's like the only place in my opinion like that I can find where you can actually like embrace those things. I've been watching Coffee and Cults. I love her content. I love her freaking content. Coffee and Cults. I freaking love that. I love her content. She does a lot of deep dives into like Hollywood and Scientology and like celebrity like Hollywood's relationships and she'll do deep dives on like really popular TV shows. Like I was watching the one about Desperate Housewives because I had no idea that Desperate Housewives like had all that drama and I like her personality and I like how personal she gets with like she talks about like her weight loss and like her being a lesbian and her like being from England. Like I just like hearing their personal things too tied into the content that they're creating. Mhm. Good luck, girl. Okay, I have to add these. I'm going to take a picture of this comment. I'm going to take a picture of this comment because yeah, like I just want to do more. I really do want to do more spiritual stuff. And honestly, I want to be a Reiki. I do. Like I really do want to do stuff with like energy and energy healing. Like I'm sorry, like that's going to be my next profession. That's going to be my next profession, like some type of like energy healer. Okay, that's what I want to do next. I feel like I've just shifted timelines. I've just shifted timelines where it's just like I want to do something else. It is rumored YouTube going to a Netflix format. I hope not. Honestly, I could believe it. Honestly, I could believe it. Because when you think about top creators, when you think about top creators, they have all of these ads that like get put in on top of the ads that they already put into their freaking content. Like that's worth a lot of money. And so if these like large companies that are paying them money to add the ads into their own content on top of the ad companies that work along with YouTube, these large corporations like Netflix and Hulu, they can make even more money. Like, I'm just so sick of capitalism. I'm so sick of it. Left the gym yesterday and was in the parking lot with my gym gear. This weird guy yells from his car if he could ask me a question. When I said he could ask me from where I was, he rolled his window back up. So weird. So weird. And I've always had such a good experience with Reiki. Like I just love yeah, I watch Sloan Bella. I don't watch her often, but I do watch Sloan Bella. Um I just like anything with energy. I do because like I just have always really enjoyed the work with Reiki. Like I've always enjoyed the work with Reiki and like I've gotten like Kundalini awakening done. I've just always really enjoyed that experience and it's always been so opening for me and it's always been like prophetic for me and I would love to just give that experience to other people. I do. I would just love to give that stuff to other people and that experience to others so that way they can be free. That's a big part of emotional detachment. A big part of emotional detachment is just being free. Just be free. Be free from expectations. Be free from control. Be free from other people's opinions. Be free from validation. Like the whole part of emotional detachment is just being free. Allow yourself to be free. Once you allow yourself to be free, emotionally detaching is just so easy because you realize that you having an emotional attachment to things or people, it isn't going to keep it, you're not going to keep it any longer. You're not going to keep it any closer to you. You have to relinquish your control. You have to relinquish your control. Once I realized that, okay, none of this stuff is going to last forever, like these relationships aren't going to last forever. Um, Once I realized that I can't change other people's opinions of me, once I realized that validation isn't going to cure anything, okay, once I realized all of those things, it just made it so easy to emotionally detach. Okay, because emotional detachment is like highly psychological based on like your upbringing and your thought process. That's really what it is dependent upon. That's really what it is dependent upon. The ruminating and holding on to things like that is just like it's technically not yours to begin with, right? We're not in ownership of anything. We don't own anything or anybody. Should I just pretend to be a semi psychopath to master detachment since I'm a highly sensitive person? Um, honestly, if it works, honestly, if it works for you, then do it. Honestly, if it works for you, then do it. It might just be easier for you to deal with people in a transactional manner in order for you to emotionally detach, which is what I talk about here on the channel. Um, the thing about it is that They've created a world where everything is transactional anyway. I mean, honestly, they've created a world where everything is transactional anyway. In order for you to live in a house, you have to pay money. In order for you to eat, you have to pay money. In order for you to earn a paycheck, you have to give up your time. I mean, we live in a world that's highly transactional. So it's like, I think for the expectation for you to do everything on a transaction and then deal with people and it not be transactional, like, to me it's disingenuous. Like, honestly, to me it's disingenuous. I've never understood it. Like, I've never understood like why we create this world where it's all transactional, and then when it comes to relation with other people, it's like, no, 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 you're not, it's not supposed to be transactional, not with other people. You could do it with like things in your survival and like with your time. You can do that on a transaction, but when it comes to other people on a relational basis, no, it's not supposed to be transactional. And it's just like, where is the example being set that it shouldn't be transactional when everything in the world, everything else is transactional? Like, make it make sense. Because essentially, I mean, because in my opinion, I kind of feel like people that are sociopaths, like they don't care about right and wrong because everything is just a transaction. It's like, okay, I have to do X, Y, Z to get the result that I want. Like, I don't care about what it is that I do. All I know is that like I just have to do these things so that way I can have said outcome. Aw, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your support, Triple L. Thank you, girl. I'm surrounded by psychopaths. So when I act out, they are like, "Aw, she's so cute." Like, you're just mirroring them. You're just mirroring them. So once you act out, they're comfortable. They're like, yes, the behavior that I'm used to. And yeah, I agree. This is the reason why I say that, like, you have to have an outlet for your emotions. You do. You have to have an outlet for your emotions, and like that's going to be different for everybody. It could be writing, singing, journaling, dancing. Like, for me, dancing is like a very emotionally sensitive place for me. It's a place that I can really get vulnerable when it comes to me dancing. So that's where my level of sensitivity is. It's revolving around me dancing. It's revolving around my body being in motion. Your level of sensitivity, in my opinion, should always be with things that you would consider sacred, because if you're a sensitive person, that already kind of means that like, in my opinion, very, very, like, sensitive people, especially emotionally sensitive people, I feel as though, like, this is the reason why, like, cancer, like, it's like the crab or whatever, and, like, why cancers are considered to be, like, very emotionally sensitive. Well, the crab has a shell. Like, the crab has a shell of itself, and then it has, like, the little pincher things or whatever. That shell is like a layer of protection, because like once the shell breaks, like that's it. You know what I mean? Like, that's it for the crab. That's like a very make or break situation to be in when you are an emotionally sensitive person. So there's a higher level. You have to go out of your way. You have to go further out of your way to like protect your energy. You know what I mean? To people who really aren't that emotionally sensitive, like, I'm a Capricorn. I'm really not all that emotionally sensitive. So it's like I don't have to go out of my way and put a whole lot of effort into like guarding myself, because the way I look at it, it's like, okay, if something happens, I will just prevail through whatever situation it was because it's just the Capricorn in me. I'll just power through the situation and make it on the other side of whatever hurt I had to endure and then keep it moving. So it's just going to be really rooted in it's going to be rooted in how you are as a person and what's unique to you and what unique way you can figure out how to navigate through that. You know what I'm saying? Go back to ballet dancing, like, and that's the beautiful thing too. That's the beautiful thing too, because it's like, because because younger generations are understanding mental health, and because younger generations are understanding that there are things from your childhood that fulfilled you and you had to abandon those things through adulthood. We're so privileged to have other people that were like, you want to know what? These things are healing for other people. Let me make an opportunity for adults to be able to do it. Like, they have adult ballet, they have adult gymnastics. You know what I mean? They have like trapeze and stuff like that. Like, they have all of these like really, really just cool and interesting things that you can do that can really speak to your inner child and like parts of yourself that you had to abandon because you had to grow up. So I highly encourage you. Like, I highly encourage for, anybody to get back into things that they enjoyed in their childhood, and over time through their adulthood they had to abandon it. You know what I mean? Cuz you're never too old. You're never too old. Like, I'm a firm believer in that. You're never too old. I don't believe in there being a cap off with your age when it comes to when you could do something, if you should or should not do something. To me that doesn't matter. See? See, once you strip men out of the equation and you go inward and you look back at your life with all the things that you enjoyed doing before you were going boy crazy, and before you started caring about having a man in your life, you really do realize, like, oh my God, I had some really cool interests. I had some really, really cool interests, and I really did have, like, I had aura. Like, I'm sorry, like, for me, in my opinion, I'm sorry, like, I just feel as though women have aura, and I just kinda feel like when you allow yourself to get too involved with men, you lose your aura. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have your hobbies and, like, your own life. Archery would be fun as hell. Nice. I couldn't roller skate at all. I sucked at roller skating. I went to a birthday party that was at a roller skate rink a few years back, and I was like, "Oh my god." Like, I can rollerblade, I can do inline skating, but, like, roller skating, like, on the all fours, hell no. I probably could if I tried at it hard enough, but, like, it's too much for me. It's too much for me on those floors. Like, I was about this close from getting the little roller skate cane, and you lean over the cane, and they have lessons too. They have lessons. There was this one girl, she was getting it. She was this young child. She was this young child. This girl was probably like 7 years old. She was little. She was getting down on them roller skates. She was getting down on them roller skates. And that we were talking to the parents, and the parents were like, yeah, like we have her do lessons. She really enjoys roller skating. And so we have her do lessons. All in the knee bend. And see, my knees, chow, my knees are about as unstable as Kanye West. My knees are unstable as hell. And it's so weird because ice skating, I had no problem ice skating. Anything that is in line with my foot, I have no problem skating on that. It is the four damn wheels on the skates that I don't know what it is about them not being in line. Anything in line, I have no problem with because I don't mind ice skating. Don't mind ice skating, don't mind inline rollerblading. I don't know what it is with the roller skates. The weight distribution is just I can't. Nice. Nice. I'm telling y'all, my knees are as unstable as Kanye West. I don't know. I have no idea when they're gonna behave. I got no idea when they're gonna behave, and I got no idea when they're gonna act out because when they're acting out, I'm like, I can't even think of something that I did to get them to start acting this way. Okay, so I'm not really good with the planets. Honestly, I'm not really good at the planets because astrology is a lot. Okay, astrology is a lot. And like the video that I'm going to be doing for the spiritual channel in regards to astrology, it's very straightforward as like a compass in regards to like how the signs match up to the weather, how the signs match up to the weather in relation to like personality and things like that, and like how those things can cross over into your own personal birth chart. But I'm not all that well versed in the planets. She said, because I do fall. I don't remember any of that. Like literally, it's because I go between Western and Vedic astrology. So I don't only follow Western astrology. I also follow Western astrology. So like I don't know my birth chart by heart because it's not the only birth chart that I'm looking at. And like if you look at Vedic astrology, there's multiple charts. There's your D9 chart, there's your D10 chart. There's so many different charts in Vedic astrology. So I don't have anything memorized because I look at so many charts. Cuz I am inching a little, I'm inching slowly, but I am inching closer to like my D9 chart being more relevant because they say that like your D9 chart like that starts at when you're around like your mid 30s, like 36. Yeah, and like Vedic, I mean like sidereal astrology, like they look at the degrees and the nakshatras, and Vedic astrology is a lot, but personally I like it better than Western, but because I was born in the West, obviously I do care about, my Western chart because I was born in the West after all. So obviously it does hold some weight in my life. But Vedic astrology, it's a lot. I'm a firm believer that all deities are real too. I'm a firm believer that all deities are real. They're all here, like you're saying, they're all part of one consciousness. If anybody watches, if you watched Ancient Aliens, I know we were talking about streaming things, but they do have Ancient Aliens on YouTube. I don't know if someone has all of the episodes uploaded. I would assume no. I would assume no because Netflix, they like own Ancient Aliens, but I do know that they will upload videos. Um it's not the History Channel. The History Channel, they will upload videos on here of Ancient Aliens, but if you watch Ancient Aliens, that's pretty much what Ancient Aliens is about. Ancient Aliens is essentially about different deities and extraterrestrial beings, and essentially, the hints that we've been given through fossils, and through all these things that they've left behind to tell us that, like, all of that stuff existed at some point here. All of that stuff existed here, all of those deities and the extraterrestrial beings and stuff like that. I really do enjoy Ancient Aliens. I don't agree with everything on that show. I don't agree with every single thing on that show, but Ancient Aliens is like a really, really good show if you want to start digging more into like different realms, and like, I know one thing for me, the one thing I couldn't stand in school was geometry, and the thing about it was that it wasn't that I didn't like geometry. I knew that geometry, they were hiding something from us. Like, I knew that it was something deeper to us, like having to know like Pythagorean theorem and stuff like that. Like, I knew it was something deeper, and so I do like Ancient Aliens because they were further confirming, like, yeah, like Pythagorean theorem, like it's something deeper to it. Like, there actually is a spiritual tie to geometry. That's why I have like all these like dollar flowers and stuff like that, because I've always enjoyed geometry, but I knew that there was something like sacred. Like, I always knew that there was some like sacred encoding within geometry. And it used to piss me off because I'm like, it ain't like I'm going to use this in everyday life. What's more to it? And yeah, it's on Netflix. Yeah, it will make you realize like a lot of the things that you learn in, like, cuz I knew physics. So this was like one thing that I do like about ultrasound. Like, one thing that I love about ultrasound is the physics of ultrasound, because the physics of ultrasound is when you dismantle it all, it's actually very spiritual in how they use the technology, because the probe that they use to transmit an image, it has a crystal in it. So we all know about crystals and spirituality. So there's actually a crystal in the probe that is used to transmit the image. And then the ultrasound machine will transmit sound waves of different frequencies to be able to give an image. And so think of tuning forks and sound bowls and things like that. If they're taking the technology with frequency and sound to be able to project an image, and they're using crystals to be able to project an image on a machine, I mean, you could only imagine like just how powerful like sound and crystals and things like that are, because pretty much everything with like spirituality, like a lot of that is rooted in physics. A lot of that stuff is rooted in quantum physics. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense. So once I started nerding out about ultrasound and like we started digging deep into the physics, I was like, "Oh, hell yeah. Like this is totally the modality for me." Totally the modality for me cuz I just was so entrenched in like the physics of it all. She said, "Girl, I told myself I was going to be homeless once I was done raising my kids. I fostered enough healthy relationships that someone will let me stay with them." Girl, listen, do what you got to do. People do it all the time. People do it all the time. Even my dad says that. My dad always says, he was like, "Listen, the path is different for everybody." And he literally uses that as an example. My father is like, there are people out there that their life path and the life that they want to live, they want to be homeless. Like they don't care about going to work. They don't care about having like a roof over their head. They don't care about driving a car. They don't care about any of that stuff. Like there are people out there that their level of freedom that they have is just to own nothing. To own absolutely nothing. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to that point every day. I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to that every day cause chow, it just gets to a point where it's like when you own stuff, you have to constantly think about something. You constantly have to think about something. It's constantly something that has to be over your head that you're thinking about. And I'm not saying that you don't have to think about anything if like you're homeless or if like you have to live in a van and stuff like that. Like, okay, obviously if you live in a van, you have to be like, okay, I need to be able to park in this place. I need to be able to go to this gym to be able to shower. Like obviously you have things that you have to think of. Um but it's more of like a day by day type of thing where it's just like, I don't know, I kind of feel like you don't have to be on all the time. You know what I mean? All the money I would have spent on rent, I take and get a vacation. Exactly. I don't blame you. Honestly, I don't blame you. Cause yeah, I think at this point, everyone just wants to be free. That's why I was like, we need to talk about emotional detachment because I want women freed from their emotions. I want women free from their emotions. The moment that you're free from your emotions, life gets so much easier. Like when you don't have your emotions running the show and you don't feel so shackled by your emotions, I love how you wrote it in all caps. It's the hooting and hollering. It's the hooting and hollering. But I want everybody to be free. I want everybody to be free from their emotions. I do. I want you to I just want women to be able to feel their emotions and like just let them flow on by. Let them flow on by and not internalize them and just keep it moving. Not constantly ruminate. You know what I mean? I don't want women to constantly be ruminating over emotions and how things could, go. I heard Ancient Aliens is racist. I think it's because the white historians refuse to believe that Black and Indigenous people actually built those landmarks and instead say aliens built it. This is the reason why I said earlier in the live stream, I don't agree. I don't agree with everything on Ancient Aliens because there are definitely some things on there that I kind of feel like it's giving racist, and then there are some things on there where like it's giving misogynistic because they love to bring up like white male historians on there, like knowing that there are women that contributed to their findings and their research and they never bring it up. So that's the reason why I said I don't agree with everything on Ancient Aliens because yeah, um they do kind of bend the truth a little bit for it to fit a certain narrative. I definitely peeped that. but there despite all of that, there are things that are worth learning about that I feel like is very beneficial, like from the show, despite all that. But I agree. What's your advice to stop ruminating? That's something I'm working through. It's relinquishing your control. It's relinquishing your control over the fact that you cannot do anything. You cannot do anything to change the situation or to go back on the situation. You have to accept, like, acceptance is like the highest form. It's one of the highest things or feelings or beings that you can vibrate at is having acceptance. Having acceptance over the fact that it is what it is. People that ruminate have a hard time being present. You have a hard time being present. Whenever I ruminate, I always have to bring my awareness to the present. Like, I'm looking outside and the sky is blue. It's, currently 3 o'clock, like once you get to ruminating, you have to break off and get back to the present and remind yourself that you're in the present. And then once you can bring yourself back to the present, you need to then correct like what you were telling yourself. Like you need to correct what story you're telling yourself, cuz ruminating is dangerous because it's once again, I hate that I'm going off onto these tangents, but I just feel as though you can't talk about emotions without like getting woo woo. Honestly, I feel as though you can't talk about these things without getting a little woo woo, but the thing about like rumination and the brains the things that you're telling your brain is that like your brain has neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity is you're teaching you're literally teaching your brain how to think, and whatever influence you give your brain, that's what it's going to short circuit the way that you're teaching it to do so. So when you're constantly feeding your brain like negativity and like you're writing this story in your head that's 100% negative, you're strengthening the muscle in your brain for you to keep giving and feeding it negative talk. So once you're ruminating, you have to be aware that you're ruminating, come back to the present moment, and then rewire what you're telling yourself. You have to feed yourself something different mentally to create a different pathway, to create a new type of neuroplasticity. So that way your brain doesn't just automatically go to that thought. I mean, I have Ganesha tattooed on me. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, it's just fake it until you make it, or tell yourself like that's not true. You know what I mean? That's not true. I always like to think of like a devil and an angel, and when I have like negative self-talks about myself, I'm like you can give the person an alter ego. Like for me, I don't know. I don't know. This may not work for another person, but for me, I don't like to take accountability for negative parts of myself. Like, it sounds messed up in a way. It does. It sounds messed up in a way, but I don't mean in the way that like I'll blame someone else. Like when I say I don't like to take accountability for negative parts of myself, it's still a part of me. It's just an alter ego part of me. It's like my shadow side. So like your shadow side is you. You just giving your shadow side a name. So that way, like, you're not saying like, oh my God, like, I hate that you're saying this, like, because you're saying it. It's just a different version of you saying it. So whenever I have those thoughts in my head and I'm like ruminating and I'm like, no, like just give the person an alter ego and be like, quit talking crazy, so and so. quit talking crazy so and so. And then that's when you're like, you know, the other person, that's when they're going to come in and like say, like, that's not true. It's actually X, Y, and Z. Like, it's not me saying that. It's somebody else saying that. Those aren't my thoughts. Those are somebody else's thoughts. They're trying to taint my self-perception. They're trying to taint how I think about myself. So I just blame it on somebody else and then just correct it. That way you don't get into that whole mindset of like, because it's not going to happen overnight. Like, obviously, the thoughts are still going to come in, and then you don't want to take it personal and be like, oh my God, like I'm so stupid. And why can't I stop thinking like this? Like, just blame it on somebody else. Be like, that's not me saying that. Like on that movie Switch, he was like, that's not me. That's not me. That's Patricia. That's what you got to start telling yourself. When you start getting that negative self-talk and, you're like, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm stupid. You got to say, that's not me. That's Patricia. That's Patricia saying that. I don't think that. I don't think I'm fat. I don't think I'm ugly. I don't think I'm stupid. That's Patricia saying that. Going through a breakup and told my dad I was sad because we had a ski trip planned. He said, "Is he taking the snow with him?" Really brought me back to reality. Yeah, like he's not that important. He is not that important. That's what I always say. Like, no, you're putting too much importance on that man because it's true. Is he taking the snow with him? That's a good one. Her name is Miss Ma'am. Yeah, that's a good one. Now, Miss Ma'am, no one asked your opinion. Now, Miss Ma'am, nobody was talking to you. Get out the conversation. Get out of our business. And guess what? You can go on the ski trip with other people. Hell, you can go on the ski trip alone. And to be honest, like I'm going to make a video about it. I'm going to make a video about it, but I think one thing as women get older, the reason why a lot of older men like younger women is because men understand that they give lackluster experiences. This is just something that women don't realize. It's just one of those things that comes along with experience. This advice usually won't be enough to deter women away from wanting to date men. But as you get older and you have a lot of experiences with men, even if no man was like mean to you or harmful to you, overall, you start to realize that men offer you lackluster experiences. They may not be bad experiences, but they're lackluster. Like they're just, it was an experience. You know what I mean? Like, as someone who's went on many a trips with men, like many a trips with men, looking back, it was all very lackluster. Honestly, it was all very, very lackluster. Honestly, I don't even think back on those memories of like when I traveled with ex boyfriends and things like that. Like, to be honest, I don't even really look back on any memories with exes to begin with. Like maybe soon after a breakup, you think back on those memories, but as time fades, you realize that you realize that you only wanted the experience so bad because you loved a person and you didn't even really know the person that you loved for real. And then once you realize the person that you loved, it just puts a crack in the veneer and it's just like once the veneer is cracked, like you're just caulking it. You know what I mean? Like you're just putting some caulk in there to like keep the veneer together and you can never look back and have that like clean slate that you did. And so when you look back on those experiences, you're just kind of like, it wasn't even all of that great of an experience. You know what I mean? You're just doing shit that you're supposed to do. You're just doing shit that you would be doing regardless. Cause I don't ever think there's not one experience I had with with a man that has like beat time that like I spent with the girls or time that I've like spent with my family. Like I can't name any. Yeah. Like they don't give any life-changing experience. It's only when you're younger, when you don't have any life experience that you think that what they're giving you is so life-changing. Once you get older, you realize like they weren't giving me anything. It just felt like they were giving me something because I didn't have anything to begin with. Yeah, just cut all ties. Just cut all ties. Do a solo trip. I would love to ski alone. I would love to ski alone because I would love to go on a skiing trip. 2 men's date ideas were trying to join me on a walk I was already going to. Like, see, I'm sorry, shit like that is what would be my 13th reason. Okay, I am sorry. Like things like that, when men say stuff like that, that's what would create my 13th reason because what are you talking about that you're going to try to join me on a walk I was already going to? That's pretty much the same as me being on a walk and some stranger walking alongside me. They're walking and I'm walking and they see me and they just come alongside me while I'm on my walk and they're like, "Hi, how are you? How is everything going?" Like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want someone walking with me on my hot girl walk. And then what? You're gonna join, you're gonna let them join. I'm not saying you're gonna let them, but I'm saying like, okay, hypothetically, you give them a chance, right? And you let them join in on a walk. All they're gonna do is ruin the experience with you and traumatize you. And guess what? You're not ever gonna want to go for a walk at that place again. Boyfriends ruin everything. Like, what's the point? What is the point of boyfriends coming with you to do stuff and like you're not having fun while you're there? I hate working out with people or walking. It's personal for me. Me too. I want to be alone working out. I don't want to be active with other people. Personally, I don't want to be active with other people. And it's like when I want to be active, I like to get active. Okay. I want my heart rate up. I want to have a little bit of difficulty talking. I want to be working up a sweat. I won't have enough energy to even like have a conversation or care about what you're doing because like I like to really really work out and get into it. It's no point of somebody being there. No point it's no point of somebody being there. Yeah, that would have I don't blame you. I would have deleted the app too. I might have crashed out. I honestly think I would have crashed out. Chow, me one of my exes me and one of my exes, we used to grocery shop with each other. And girl, I would leave him behind in the store. I would leave him behind in the store. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Child, I don't even want to be near you while I'm grocery shopping. I barely want to be here to begin with. I would just leave him. I would just leave him. And a lot of the time, I would make him push the buggy. I would make him push the buggy, and I would just be toodalooing down the aisles, and I'd be like, "You want to know what? I'm just gonna shop and get the things that I need, and then I'll just let him shop around for the things that he needs." I'm already a wanderer to begin with. Like, I'm already a wanderer to begin with. So I'm just like, the grocery shopping's gonna take longer because it's like, I don't wanna direct you to where we're going, and, like, I already know what I need. It'll just be way faster if, like, I could just get the stuff that I wanna get, and I'll find you in the grocery store, and while I'm finding you in the grocery store, I'll just put myself in the cart, as I see you. I know I'm gonna see you in here again some with all the walking I'm doing. I know I'm gonna see you somewhere in these aisles again, so it's like, I'll go on ahead. I will see you. I will see you. And the thing about it was that he only was going grocery shopping because of me. Before me, he used to never even go grocery shopping. He used to never even go grocery shopping, but like, I don't like eating fast food like that, and I'm not paying for no delivery service. I'm gonna go to the grocery store to go buy myself some groceries so I can cook myself some food. Cause just know, why don't men know how to properly clean and grocery shop? Because their mamas be coddling them. They mamas be like, Demarcus, Demarcus, what you want me to get you from the grocery store? Let me get 2 liters of Mountain Dew, and give me 4 bags of some hot Cheetos. I want like 4 of them like Hungry Man TV dinners, and just and then get a container of water. Okay, Demarcus. Okay, Demarcus. And then she comes back and she's like, I got you a rotisserie chicken while I was out there. I got you some rotisserie chicken while I was out there. And they don't got to think about cleaning because as soon as they see behind them, it's all dirty, and then by the time they go to get their remote controller for their gaming console, everything's cleaned up because they mama done cleaned everything up. They don't even notice anything is dirty. They don't notice anything is dirty because Demarcus is sleeping in until 2 p.m. Demarcus is out cold. Demarcus didn't even realize that between the hours of 9 to 11 a.m., Demarcus's mama was in there cleaning up his room. He woke up and he was like, it must be magic. The place is clean. The place is clean, mama. What happened? Yeah, I'm sorry. The name Demarcus is giving gamer, Pookie, working at the factory. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care. Especially when it comes to men, I'm sorry. When it comes to men, I'm judgmental over their names. I'm not fucking dating no Lamarcus, Demarcus, John Quavius. What's Future's real name? Is his name's like Nevadius or something? Um, I think Offset's name is real ghetto. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not dating any man that has those types of names. I'm not dating no man that has no types that has that type of name. Hell no. Hell nah. I'm sorry, no. No way. I'm not trying to introduce my family would look at me sideways if I was like, here's John Quavius, y'all. Cause I'm sorry, ain't no way John Quavius is working a white collar job with that name. John Quavius is not even getting an interview. Okay. John Quavius is not even getting an interview. So that just wouldn't even make any sense for me. I'm sorry. Like, why couldn't you name your son a regular name? Like, it's plenty of names out there. Like, why the fuck would you name him DeMarcus? Why wouldn't you just name him Marcus? Like, all of that extra. No, I didn't restart it. I don't know. Maybe it's the connection. Maybe it did something weird. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm judgmental over men's names, okay? You need to have a name and it has to be one syllable. It can be a max of two syllables, and it can't be no duh, you know? It can't start with no duh or la. It can't be any beginning of a okay? I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. Yeah, Nevadius. What the fuck, Nevadius? Orangelo and Lemon Like, what the fudge? Like that's what you name cars. You know, you want to go get you a new car and you like the color orange. You want to go on ahead and get your body kit and you want to get a orange car. You want to get an orange car. Okay, you can name your orange car Orangello. And you get you a yellow car, get it painted yellow. Okay, this is lemon jello. Like, can't you just get a Labubu? Can't you just get a Labubu and name them those names? Or get a cat or a dog? Like, it is a little crazy to name your dog DeMarcus, but at least the dog doesn't have to apply for a job and like have to regularly go by his name. And if he's so embarrassed with his name, he's got to make up a nickname because he doesn't want people calling him, Ladarius his whole life because he realizes that it's just giving Pookie. Like, you ain't never meet nobody with that damn name. Why do you think single mom with boy children feels the need to coddle? Because they know, number one, a lot of mothers realize that if they don't coddle a man in their life, they're never going to keep a man in their life, including their own son. And so they're like, you want to know what? I'm just going to make my man, or I'm going to make my, they really do see it as their man, but I'm going to make my son be dependent on me by enabling him and handicapping him. That way I can at least keep a man in my life. Because for a lot of women, they fear the fact they're like, I couldn't keep no man in my life. If I can't even keep my own son in my life, I'm the ultimate failure. If I couldn't even keep a man in my life. And it's like, it's really not that serious. How about a Latino named Ricky Ricardo? See, that would piss me off too. That would piss me off too. Their dog's name was Fergalicious, and I hated that so much. Oh, that's a horrible name. Also, the name is Kiari, Japanese. It wasn't Offset's name. It's somebody else's name. It's someone else's name that's not Futures, but like Futures, and the name is just ghetto. It wasn't Offset. I misspoke. A name worth yelling at. I seen the pet duck who he named Octavius. I've seen that. Like it's funny when people name their animals that. Like it really is funny. Oh yeah, what is it? Her name starts with a B cuz obviously that's why her name's Cardi B. Hold on it cuz her name is Belcalis. Belcalis Marlenis Almanzar. Belcalis Marlenis Almanzar. What a mouthful. What a mouthful. Belize. Belcalis. Ah, okay, Belcalis. Because I heard her say it. I heard her say it before. When she says it, it sounds good. When she says it, it sounds good, but chow. Yep, I know. Whenever you get your nails done, whenever you go get your nails done, they're Vietnamese. And I'm like, what's your name? And she's like, my name's Sally. And I'm like, girl, I know your name, not Sally. You had to make your name more palatable to us Americans. And I feel bad because like one thing I will say is that like patients, they actually give me a lot of compliments because they're like, you actually pronounce my name right. You actually pronounce my name right because it's like I can't stand it. Like I worked with some people and they're like, it's not my responsibility to pronounce their name correctly. And in my head, I'm thinking like, if you went, no one likes having their name be mispronounced. Like, I'm sorry. Like, no one likes having their name be mispronounced. Like, so I do try to make the effort. Like, if I can Google the name and it's like a common foreign name and I could find it on YouTube as someone pronouncing it, I will literally look up like how to pronounce the name. But some people are like, I don't care. Like, oh my God. Like, what the freak? Yeah, like I love ethnic names. I do. I love ethnic names. I hate that the Vietnamese, like whenever you get your nails done, I hate that they like have to like they feel obligated to have these like watered down names. Because I worked with a Nigerian and her name was Babilola. And I guess I'm assuming people didn't know how to pronounce Babilola, so she went by Lola. And Lola's a cute name. Like honestly, Lola's a cute name, but I'm like, girl, I liked it better with Babalolo. Like, it's clear that you're Nigerian. Like, it's clear that you're Nigerian. Yeah, because men understand that. I mean, if you hide the life jacket from them and you don't teach them how to swim, they're always going to be looking at you like, "Do you have the life jacket?" You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like that. Candy Poon were classmates that picked their names when they came from I Love Jumanji. Like those are all really good names. I'm sorry, ghetto names. I'm sorry. I'm not team ghetto. I'm sorry, I'm not team ghetto name. Like, I'm sorry. I know Raven Simone, like they chewed her up when she was on they chewed Raven Simone up when she used to be on The View because she pretty much has said the same comment. She has said that like she doesn't like those names because I'm sorry, I don't like those celebrity names either. Like why are you naming your child Apple? You know, I mean I think that's like Gwyneth Paltrow's child's name, Apple. Like it's not even the ghetto names. Like it's these celebrities too. Like they name their children just stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Like they just name their children just dumb ass shit. Like See, okay, in my opinion, I wouldn't like, okay, I don't think I would name somebody Apple. I wouldn't name somebody Apple. I would name them like a type of apple, like Gala, as if that's any better. I watched a documentary. I watched a documentary about Tippy Hedren. I did watch a documentary about that, and I did learn that that's the reason why too. I watched it not too long ago. Oh, maybe it is Quavo's name. I'm pretty for sure it's one of them that have a weird name. Yeah, Quavius. Quavius. Like, that name's terrible. That name's awful. I'm guessing it's Quavius. Like, what does that even mean? Granny Smith Paltrow. That's funny. Granny Smith. Like, I'm sorry, I don't like that name. Obviously, I have beef with the names that end in us or eus because Quavius and Nevadius. Obviously, I have beef with that ending. Oh, I didn't know that. I like Northwest only because it just makes sense. Like, I just kind of feel like there are some children when you see them, the name just fits them. I don't think Shantae is ghetto. I like the name Shantae. I do. I like the name Shantae. Oh, Shantae. You know what I mean? Like, it's giving French. It's giving French. But you could turn it ghetto. You know, you could turn it ghetto Shantae. That's what I'm saying. Like, black people, we always do like an accent because Shantae, Shantae really, in my opinion, is like a classy name. It really is a classy name, but a black person, they could spell that shit Shauntay, Shantae. You know what like us black folks, we could really take a name and like add a lot of razzle dazzle to it. We can add a lot of we can add a lot of razzle dazzle to a name. So I don't know. Shantae. Because one time, um, I remember I had a patient and her last name was weird. Okay. Yeah, the last name was weird. And I remember I was like, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. So I was like, I'm just going to go name her first name and we'll go from there. Well, the first name was spelled literally Nate. It was spelled Nate, and there was no accent. There was no accent on there. And so I went out and I was like, Nate, Nate, Nate. It was a woman, and then she, like, had an attitude with me, and she was like, "It's Nate." And I was like, "Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break." There isn't even an accent on the E. It just was spelled Nate. It just was spelled Nate. If I seen an accent over the E, okay, I guess it would have made sense for me to say Nate, but what the freak? Like, I couldn't believe that. I was flabbergasted. I was like, Nate, I wouldn't have looked at this and thought that the name was Nate. There was no accent. And these people get pissed off at you like you knew them their whole entire life for you to like say their name properly. Yeah, all she had to do was say, "Oh, it's Nate," not "it's," or yeah, not "it's Nate." I'm like, "Dang, okay, I'm sorry. I'll keep that in mind, Nate." That's why I said enchanté. I said that. I literally said that. I said enchanté because I took French in high school. But yeah, Shantae, it's I don't know. It's just to me, it's so classy. To me, it's a classy name. To me, it's like a very grown name. To me, it's a very, very grown name. Like I would feel weird looking at a child and being like, "Hey, Shantae." Like, I don't know. When I think of the name Shantae, I think of like grown woman, like grown woman. Yeah, I don't know why, but I actually like really liked French. I did. I really liked French, and I would have kept taking it, but I hated our French teacher. I could not stand her. Yeah, I was playing Shantae more at the gym. That's why I was so shocked that they mentioned Shantae because y'all are probably like, why was she listening to Shantae more at the gym? Like, isn't that slower music? Yeah. She said I speak French on the daily, kind of overrated. I get it. People that blame their daughters after alcohol, I can't relate, but one thing I'm really happy about is that I didn't have a large influence of alcohol in my life. I didn't have a large influence of alcohol in my life or like men around me that were like heavily drinking alcohol and having ridiculous actions based off of them drinking alcohol. And I'm so glad for that because I couldn't. Cinnamon, fireball, fireball. Imagine if you named your child that. Hypnotic. Hypnotic. Could you imagine naming a child hypnotic? Like, oh my god, that would be so funny. Like, here's hypnotic, everybody. Like, that's not even a real name. That's a stripper name. Well, it coming to the stage, hypnotic. She literally spelled her name on Family Feud. I'm trying to think of another alcohol name. I feel like Hypnotic took the cake though. Hypnotic would be crazy. Hypnotic would be insane. Definitely a millennial's child. Definitely the child of a millennial if they were named Hypnotic. Oh yes, Ciroc. I could definitely see someone naming their child Ciroc. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I feel like there's somebody out there naming their son Ciroc. Like, I don't know. Ciroc is definitely giving like a masculine name that someone, yeah, Hennessy, yeah, Bacardi, yeah. Oh my God, yes, Alizé. That's another one. Damn, that is another one. That's another one. I definitely could see that. I could see Alizé. She said anesthesia. Anesthesia would work too. Honestly, it's not too far from Anastasia. Why is your name Anesthesia? They misspelled it on the birth certificate. Whole time it was supposed to be Anastasia. Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Yeah, like I actually like Alizé. Like Alizé is once again giving classy lobotomy. Actually, in Russian, it's pronounced Anastasia. I think it's Anastasia, right? Because I know for a fact Anastasia is a Russian name. She said propofol. Propofol. I'm hollering. Ciroc. Oh my God, Ciroc and Cristal. I would be hollering. I would be hollering. Is it Anastasia? Anastasia or Anastasia? Which one is it? How are you supposed to pronounce it? I knew there was another one. I was thinking of Tangeray. Oh, nice. Anastasia? Anastasia? You say I and not E? I like that name. Lucia and Lucifer. That's actually a good name. Anastasia? 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 You know what? Hold on. What's Sia's name? Oh, I was thinking that Sia was like short for something. Her name really is Sia. So is Anastasia? It's Anastasia. I would think it's SIA, just like how it is with SIA spelled in Anastasia. I really like that name. I use the one size foundation. I like the one size foundation, and then I also like the Fenty stick. The Fenty stick is really good too. But y'all, I'm about to get off of here. I'm about to get off of here. I need to eat me something. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'll be back on here tomorrow. I'm gonna live stream on the spiritual channel tomorrow too. So I'm just gonna do both. We'll just chat on here. And then once I get off of here, we'll just go directly over to the live stream because now I can my live stream bone is strengthening so I can live stream longer now. So I'll do 2 hours over here and then we'll do 1 hour over on the spiritual channel because I've been making sure I can get to 3 hours. Trying to build my live stream muscle back. Queen the Mystic is a spiritual channel. We're just going to do a cute little astrology debrief over there. Nothing too heavy, nothing too crazy, nothing too confusing, just cute. You know what I mean? Thank you. But yeah, Queen the Mystic, you can follow me over there. I also have it in my bio in my link tree. Okay. So I will see y'all tomorrow over on here and over on the spiritual channel. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.